Thomas C. Lynch grew up in Lima, Ohio, where his parents, coaches, and parish priests and nuns were strong influences on his early life. Tom was a gifted athlete in high school, and the Naval Academy's Rick Forzano recruited him for Navy's football team. Tom eagerly agreed since he wanted to serve his country and entered the Academy as a member of the class of 1964. At the Academy, Tom excelled in both academics and athletics. He was captain of the 1963 football team that ended the season ranked second in the nation and was the brigade boxing champion. He received both the Naval Academy Athletic Association Sword and Cook Memorial Football Award. The Lucky Bag noted both Tom's athletic and academic prowess, then predicted, "The Navy line will find Tom a real asset, for he can be relied upon to accomplish the most difficult of tasks." After graduating with distinction, Tom was assigned to Coach Wayne Hardin's staff, working with the Academy's Plebe football team. Following 4-year sea duty aboard destroyers, then Lieutenant Lynch returned to the Academy in January 1969, assigned to the Office of Candidate Guidance, where he served until 1971 when he left for sea duty. For Tom, the Academy would remain a special place, and he would draw upon his leadership experiences and challenges. It reinforced the strong values he'd held since childhood. After a Pentagon billet at Oppo 3, Tom returned to sea. He was commanding officer of USS Truett, forward deployed for 7.5 months. Truett was exceptional in all operational aspects and was awarded the Arleigh Burke Trophy in 1978 for the most improved ship in the fleet, and the Golden Anchor in 1979 for the highest re-enlistment rates. That 36-month command tour, he says, is one of his most meaningful professional accomplishments. After serving as administrative aide to the Secretary of the Navy and Navy Senate liaison, Tom returned to academia, earning his master's at George Washington University. He commanded Destroyer Squadron 26 from 1985 to 1987 before returning to the Secretary of the Navy's office, this time as Chief of Legislative Affairs. From 1989 to 1991, he commanded the USS Eisenhower Battle Group with forward deployment in the Mediterranean Sea. When Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait in 1990, the Eisenhower Battle Group was first on the scene from the Mediterranean to the Red Sea. In 1991, his alma mater summoned him back once more. Rear Admiral Lynch reported for duty as Superintendent of the Naval Academy, serving until 1994. Following a tour as director of the Navy staff at the Pentagon, Rear Admiral Lynch retired from active duty after 31 years of service. In retirement, he has been among the Naval Academy's most enthusiastic supporters. He's a lifetime member of the Alumni Association and a member of the Robert Means Thompson Society. Rear Admiral Lynch is the current chairman of the Academy's athletic and scholarship programs and a member of the Naval Academy Foundation Board. He served on a number of public and private corporate boards and is heavily involved with community organizations in Pennsylvania, where he now lives. In 2008, he was the Economics Pennsylvania Honoree of the Year. Looking back, he says his greatest personal accomplishment was marrying his high school sweetheart, Kathy. Their family includes daughters Jill, married to David Graham, and Allison, married to David Riley, and son Tom Jr., married to Andrea. Grandchildren Kylie, Ellie, David, Tommy, Dalton, Charlie, Lexi, Megan, Trevor, and Jack round out a large and loving family. Today, this former football hero remains a hero to his classmates. Said one, he is a gentleman who stands for every value taught at the Naval Academy. Rear Admiral Thomas C. Lynch, an officer and a gentleman who in every facet of his life performed with honor, courage, and commitment.
Admiral Abbott, Admiral Fowler, fellow distinguished graduates, ladies and gentlemen, Brigade of Midshipmen. When it was announced in the spring of 1960 in Lima, Ohio, that I had received an appointment to the Naval Academy, I remember receiving a call from the Lima News reporter asking me why I had chosen the Naval Academy. I told that reporter at the time, as an 18-year-old, that I hoped someday I would be in a position to do something for my country. Over the years, I've considered it an honor and a privilege to serve in any capacity, our country, our Navy, or this academy. And to be recognized today as a distinguished graduate is both overwhelming and very humbling for me. There are several that I'd like to acknowledge because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. First of all, and first and foremost, I might say, is all of the officers and enlisted men and women whom I had the privilege to serve, both afloat and ashore, in my time on active duty. My teammates from the football team of 1963, we have remained close. In fact, we were together last weekend in Orlando celebrating the life of Fred Marlin, who recently passed. But we've been very close, almost as brothers. To my classmates, the great class of 1964, who provided so much support and friendship through all of these years, and I see a few of them up here, and I'd like to them stand, please. The teammates and classmates, please stand and take a bow. We want to recognize you. We want to recognize you for your service as well. There are several former distinguished graduates I would want to point out: Admiral Carl Trost, the late Admiral Jim Calvert, and the late Admiral Bill Lawrence, who served as mentors and heroes for me and whose lives I've tried to emulate. Pete Musser, who's in the audience, was the chairman, founder, and CEO of Safeguard Scientifics, who took a chance on me when I came out of the Navy and made possible my business career. And as has been mentioned in the film, I've been blessed with 3 fantastic children who, with their spouses, have given my wife and I 10 beautiful grandchildren that we adore and admire. And of course, the love of my life, my wife Kathy, who we're going on 46 years together of wedded bliss, she is the one who's made possible this day through her love, her support, her guidance, and her wise counsel through all of these years. And unfortunately, she can't be with us today, but she's watching, and she'll get the first copy of the tape today. To the brigade, all of us have defining moments in our lives. Your decision to come to this school, your service assignment, a future marriage. And I'd like to share with you one that occurred in my life in mid-August of 1977, the day I assumed command of USS Truett. And I was waiting, as I was on that platform, awaiting for the ceremony, the words, the Latin phrase, non sibi sed patriae, which we have, for those of you who had a plebe year, I'm not sure we get plebe years around here anymore since the class of 64 left, but you remember in your plebe year, it's inscribed above the bronze doors there in the chapel. Not self, but country. And that came to me, and in that moment when I took command, I realized that from that moment forward, and for the next 36 months I was in command, there wasn't a thought, word, deed, or outside occurrence that happened that I didn't think first. What effect does this have on my ship? What effect does this have on my shipmates? And then what effect it may have on me. And I tell you that, I share that with you because you learn throughout your 4 years here to be a selfless leader. Selflessness is so important. It's critical to be an effective leader. As I reflect back on my life and realize how blessed I was to have parents who instilled a philosophy to work as hard as you can, to pray as hard as you can, and to leave the rest up to God. And I can assure you, with a philosophy such as that, when those defining moments come in your life, you're going to be prepared, and the result will be a positive one. Thank you.